All right. So, James, you and I are going to chat again. And I think that between the two of us as study coaches slash teachers slash people that are incredibly passionate and interested in the next generation of accountants, this is probably a conversation we're going to continue having for quite some time. So I wanted to chat a little bit more about some warm and fuzzy stuff about students this time and your perspective of students, and share that a little bit. So we spend a lot of time talking about our students. I think if someone heard us, they'd probably think we had like 1 million children, because I think we spend a lot of time talking about them and how to help them and what's going wrong and the good, the bad, the ugly. And so why accounting students? I mean, you are an accountant, obviously, but why do you like working with accounting students? What is it that makes you keep coming back to them?
I think, Yvonne, it's back to years ago whenever I was an accounting student. So where it all started for me was I finished my degree in accounting, and then I went to another university to do a master's in advanced accounting. And my previous university asked me back to tutor the first year accounting students.
Okay.
And I realized, hey, these guys have got exactly the same problems that I had 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started. And then whenever I went into Grant Thornton to work for them, rather than getting the job done, Yvonne, I enjoyed far more helping the junior.
Yeah.
So especially whenever I became, an audit senior, I loved helping the junior members of staff in terms of going, okay, I don't know how to audit the credit reconciliation. And then after 10 minutes, they knew how to do it because I helped them.
Yeah.
I got great job satisfaction out of that. And I think it all boils down to now, Yvonne, is that I've been there, you've been there. We know what especially we know what the emotional baggage is like. We know
and
that
it's a lot.
Oh, massively. So it's more than just passing exams. It's the fact that you have to do a training contract or articles on top of that. You've got a lot of work pressure. You've got to have a life as well. And trying to have that balancing act.
Yeah.
I've been there, done it, and I can appreciate exactly what all these guys are going through. So I think that's the reason why I love working with accounting students. Plus, in the main, accounting students are very driven and they want to succeed.
True. Yes. I absolutely agree with you. They are, I think we fall into the trap a lot of times of saying, you need to improve this as students, you need to improve this, and change and work. But what's often unsaid is the fact that I find accounting students incredibly determined, very ambitious, very goal-oriented, and they pick themselves back up. They may not like it, but I've never come across a group of students that are more willing to write the exam again, to enroll again and start again. As many times as they're kicked, they get back up again because they feel that the goal is worth pursuing.
One thing as well that with accounting students, and I think it's a huge positive, is that they're very aware of their weaknesses.
Maybe too aware.
Maybe that is the logical element, processing those. But at least whenever you're coaching and prompting or whatever, they go, I know I need to do a bit more work on that area.
Yeah.
So let's go away and work a bit more on my study timetable because I know I'm lazy occasionally and I procrastinate. So being awareness is a hugely important trait.
Yeah. It's very seldom you find that they go, no, I'm fine. I don't have a problem.
Very rare.
I'm good. And in cases, if, I do find that happens, but that's often because they've never really thought about it in that way, so, oh, no, I'm fine. And then we talk about it a little more and go, oh, you actually have a point. I do struggle with that. I never thought about it that way. Mm-hmm. But there is a lack of arrogance there and a willingness to learn.
It's a huge trait. And I suppose that's the key reason is that if I was working with someone and they didn't want to work with me, it'd be very obvious that there's not going to be a relationship. But that never happens with the students I work with.
Yeah.
Because
if they've reached out because they need help, right? They've reached out because they're like, I'm struggling to do this on my own. I think I find it a little bit sad that they take so long to reach out. I think that they struggle a lot in the background before they do. And that was one thing I wanted to ask you as well. Do you generally find that people find you and ask for your help the first time that they're attempting an exam? Or do you find that they come to you after they've repeated a few or really struggled and kind of barely scraped through last year?
It's actually a bit of both. Yes, I will get accounting students who will have failed and will come to me for help with a repeat. But I also get a lot of people asking for help in the first year of their accountancy journey. So they go into work, they go into work and they start their professional exams and they go, hold on, this isn't uni anymore.
Yeah.
And they see the enormity of the struggle with work, with overtime, with assignments, with lectures on a Friday and Saturday that we had to do here. And they go, I need a bit of help here.
Yeah.
So it's actually just trying to piece those initial steps or put the initial steps or plan forward.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of both. But
yeah.
I get a mixture of loads of students, and especially maybe if someone they know they don't like financial accounting, they will come to me, or they don't like a particular topic and they'll ask.
Yeah, if there's a mental block.
Yeah, I know that I'm not going to do well in this, so I need to get asked for a bit of help. A mixture of nearly every conceivable trait. You know?
Yeah. Okay, I think for me, I tend to find that students, my experience is that students tend to approach and come for help after they've struggled on their own a lot. I think from my side, my experience is I'm going to do this on my own, and I must do this on my own. Otherwise, it's like a weakness. If I can't do this on my own, then that's a bad thing or something. And then they sort of struggle, and I generally find people come to me when they're repeating something and they've realized something hasn't worked out. And
I have come across some students that their failure is like a badge of honor. Look at me, I'm this hero and I'm battling through this. Yeah, but you failed the exams. Oh yeah, I've seen that before as well.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't really seen that. Come across that.
Maybe that's linking to what you're talking about, Yvonne. You can't be seen to have a weakness. And again, that's going back to maybe a previous conversation that we've had, the stereotype of a profession or the ego of the profession.
Yeah.
You can't have a weakness. You have to be a hero and charge on and move forward, even if you're really struggling.
Yeah.
But my message is, if you're struggling, ask for help.
Absolutely. The sooner the better.
Asking for help is a huge strength.
Agreed.
Huge strength.
Agreed. It takes a lot of bravery to ask for help, right?
Without a doubt. And especially in the game that we're in, because accountancy isn't easy.
No.
It's hard. We know the struggles of going through all those hellish exams.
Yeah.
And working at the same time and doing, we've been there. So
I'm very glad that I did it, but I wouldn't go back and do it again.
No, either would I. But what I would always say, Yvonne, is that, look at the very credible qualifications that we now have. And we can help others pursue the same credible qualifications. And I call it a career passport.
Absolutely.
I call an accountancy qualification a career passport, even a life passport, because you don't have to still stay in the profession. You go do so many other things.
Yeah. It gives you a massive amount of options, right? It gives you a huge amount of options.
I put it very, very graphic in my first session with my students. It's like getting a big stamp that says credibility and smashing it on their forehead, and you've got credibility straight over the top of your head. And people look at me and go, what? But it does do that. It's true.
It is. It's true. Yeah. And in some cases, maybe it leans too far in that direction. But I agree with you. When we talk about students that have failed, and we talk about the arrogance of the profession and all of that. And I think one of the things I come across from students is the fear that their failure is going to, or if they fail, or since they have failed, it's going to impact their career negatively. So you've been a partner at Grant Thornton. You've worked on all sides of the table. Have you employed, how do you see students that have failed and have struggled with exams?
I see students who fail with exams to bring so many more other qualities to the table. And especially people who fail multiple times and they come back and they pass. That shows incredible resilience.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll switch it about and I'll give you an example of the other side of the coin. So I was senior manager, and we were doing, it's a recruitment phase here called the milk round. Essentially, it's where graduates meet the bigger firms, and then the bigger firms agree to have their intake, and you go through the interview process and whatever to become a trainee. So one girl was interviewed and arrived as a trainee, and she got a first class degree in accounting from one of the major universities here. And so she struggled so much so she failed every one of her exams in her first year of accounting, and then she left.
Okay.
And that's where the shoe was on the other foot, where you've strived completely through academia, but then whenever you meet failure, you maybe aren't developed enough in your mental resilience to pursue it forward, because you see all the success. So occasionally, and this sounds really, really counterintuitive, but a fail might work in your advantage. Might.
Yeah.
Because it builds you up so much to strive and to move forward.
Yeah.
Now, so would I give someone a job who has failed if they show me other traits? Hell yeah. Without a doubt. If they show me that they've got the dedication, that they're willing to put a shift in at work, if they're willing to help others, if they're willing to be a team player, if they've got the other softer skills, if they've got empathy with people, if they can relate, all that, no problem. Because if you adopt the right processes, which we tell our clients or our students, they will pass if they go through that process.
Yeah. And I think what people forget is that life experience is so much more important than a piece of paper. You know, the piece of paper is valuable, and we know that, and you need that qualification. But as you say, failure is what teaches you life experience. Completely. Failure teaches you resilience. Failure teaches you empathy for other people. Struggling teaches you, you know, how to find creative solutions, different ways of doing things, and the need to find an alternative approach or problem solution. So I think I'm glad to hear you say that, because I see it very much the same way.
I had 2 or 3 massive pieces of inspiration in my life to get me where I've gotten to, and one of which happened whenever I was 11 years of age. I failed. We had a transfer test here whenever I was about 10 years of age, to go from primary school to secondary and high school. And there's certain levels of high school here, and depending on your results of that test, and I got the lowest grade in that test whenever I was 10 years of age. That was never the issue, though. The issue was my headmaster, who was decrepit, who was very, very old. And he came with my face 2 weeks later and said I was stupid. I wasn't going to pass anyway. So from that failure, gave me this massive inspiration to go and prove him wrong, which I did do.
Right. Yeah.
So again, failure, you flip it and use it as inspiration to go and move forward. It's a huge thing.
Yeah. Don't let it stop you. And I think we need to stop and it's easier said than done, no question, but we need to stop worrying so much about how other people see us.
Oh, completely.
We need to stop worrying about what other people say, you know, or how other people perceive us. Because in a lot of cases, we're wrong. You know, in a lot of cases, we think other people judge us, or, you know, think we're stupid, or whatever the case is. And as you say, you're sitting on the other side of the table, and you have more respect for the person, and that person is feeling ashamed. It's like, so you need to stop worrying. Like,
completely. Comparison is a thief.
It is.
You know, and social media doesn't help that on occasions.
Well, I think social media is a double-edged sword. It can add, you know, it can be supportive, and it can show you up, or it's also about what you look for. You know, if all that you're seeing and your filters are all about seeing what other people do well that you don't, that's going to be a problem. You know, if you filter that out and you focus on the support, then, you know, that's great too. I find for our students that are studying distance learning, you know, and they're not in a class, that sense of community is lost. You know, you're not sitting next to someone going, I suck at this. Do you suck at this as well? Is this normal? Am I normal? Am I especially stupid? And this is going well. And how do you feel about this? That's really important. And social media has replaced that. Yeah. And I think that's really valuable. You know, when you find a community that supports you and says, you know, we're all struggling together, but let's keep doing this. Not the negative, everything's crap and complaining about everything and toxic, but that it's created that community. And I studied, distance learning as well. So, and that was before social media.
But I have had a client, Yvonne, that has come up to me and said, James, I'm so deflated because I see my friends on Facebook or whatever saying, I graduated here or I passed here. And I only had to say one sentence to that client. It was, run your own race.
Totally.
That's all you have to do is run your own race. So comparison, if anyone's out there comparing to their friends regarding accountancy exams, stop it and run your own race.
Totally. You need to be better than you were yesterday.
Completely.
You need, the only person you need to compare to is yourself, because you don't see everything else. You don't see the challenges that they have in life. You don't see the resources that they may have had that you don't. You don't see their strengths and weaknesses. But we have a tendency as humans to only compare to the people ahead of us.
Yeah, completely.
So we have a tendency to go, well, you have that and I don't, and therefore I don't like that, and I'm not happy, or that makes me feel bad. And I say to a lot of my students, and I actually wrote a post on my blog about this, is, how many thousands of students and people are behind you that would give anything to be where you are?
Correct.
If we think of the statistics in the world of how few people are ever going to be able to have any kind of tertiary education or even finish school. Never
mind have a credible professional qualification.
Absolutely. Never mind any level of any tertiary education. If you have any level of tertiary education, you're technically ahead of millions of people in the world, but we don't see that. We don't really acknowledge that. We just look and go, well, I don't have the degree, I don't have the postgrad, I don't have the yet. I'm working towards it, but I don't have it. And then when you get it, you focus forward again. And when you get that, the goalposts keep moving.
And maybe certainly with comparison and perfectionism, which go hand in hand very much. I'll give an example that I've said this to clients of mine many a time, is that for my finals in Chartered Accountants Ireland, I came joint 11th in Ireland, right?
Yeah, so did I. Everyone did. Anyone who didn't come in the top 10.
Exactly right. They only placed the top 10. So everybody's going, I need to get 80% in this exam whenever 50 is a pass mark, and you don't really have to.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a degree. Degree here, you get graded, obviously.
Yes.
Quality of degree. But whenever you go into the professional realm and into those qualifications, hold on. You get over 50, you get this credible or fantastic qualification. So stop destroying yourself or your chances by comparison and perfectionism. Because we all want to become joint 11th.
Everyone that passed did. So
if you get placed, that's great. But don't let that jeopardize your chances.
Absolutely. Speaking of the perception and the concerns about perceptions, do you think that students feel that you'll judge them if they struggle with stuff? Like, do your students, your clients and stuff, do you think they battle with the concern that you're going to judge them because they don't know stuff or because they struggle?
I've never felt that they think I'll judge them, but they will think that others will judge them. It's back to the comparison thing, where I know clients that will come to me and they'll confide everything, and we put a plan together and they will pass their exams, but then they will never tell anybody that they had help.
Right.
That's again possibly back to the ego of the profession and the
100%.
The weakness.
100%.
So no one has ever came to me and going, I'm afraid you're going to judge me, because possibly by the first conversation anyway, Yvonne, I'm going, hold on guys, I know exactly, I've been there, I've worn the t-shirt, I know the stresses and strains and how infuriated you are by these things. I've been there.
Yeah. Do you think that there are potential students out there that would want to come to you but don't because they're worried that you might judge them? Because obviously if they haven't had that first conversation with you, they're not going to.
Then perhaps.
Do you think there's people out there who are not coming forward for help purely because they're worried that you're going to judge them?
Yeah, I would say that would definitely be the case then. Yeah.
What do you want to say to those people?
Again, it's getting back to asking for help is a great strength. Yeah. If you need help, go and get it.
Yeah.
You know, so what? It's like the lesser of two evils. What is the biggest regret? Asking for help of someone, or getting that, or not asking for help and never attaining that qualification that can take your life to the next level. There's only one winner in that circumstance, and that's go and get the help of. I've got a coach. I have a mentor.
Yeah, likewise.
Albeit not in accountants anymore, but certainly with life, with consciousness, with business, with relationships with others, with self-development. For me, we all need help.
Yeah. We don't know. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. So if there's anyone out there, guys, get in touch with us, because we've been there, worn the t-shirt, and we'll provide as much support as we can.
Yeah, and that's why we're here, right? That's why we do it. I don't do this because I like being, or I want to be the smartest person in the room. You know, I think a lot of.
Definitely not. I never am. I will freely admit, Yvonne, I was never. As we've got a very, very good saying here. You know, you're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Yep. I never was the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I compensated with hard work. That's got me where I've gotten to. Definitely. Yeah. But no, I completely agree. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room at all.
Yeah. But I'm not there because I want to be the hero, you know, in front and center. I don't want to be the prima donna. I genuinely am there because I feel that I can help other people with stuff that they might be struggling with, as you say, that I struggled with.
Like, there's nothing more satisfying than getting that text message on the morning of someone passing the exam, especially someone who's failed 4 and 5 times.
Yes.
One of my greatest successes, Yvonne, was at a guy who contacted me 1 week before his finals for Chartered Accountants Ireland, and he wasn't going to go. He wasn't going to turn up. He had failed. He had failed the previous August. He had failed the repeats in the January, and he was doing the repeats again the following August, and he wasn't going to turn up with 1 week to go. And I got him down and had a conversation with him and went through a few things. And my biggest success, and he passed. He passed, and he's now a fully qualified chartered accountant, probably because of those conversations we had. But the biggest success wasn't actually him qualifying. The big success for me is I actually got him to turn up that Monday morning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was a huge success. Whenever he told me that, I turned up. Good man. You're going to pass.
Well done, you. Yeah, overcoming that fear. Yeah.
And the text message just said, I'm not qualified. I was going, man, I think I danced a wee jig.
Yeah.
I was not happy for him.
I know. It's the most amazing feeling.
So certainly it's building a level of rapport with people and developing them, because, you know, if you can leave some sort of legacy in this earth, it's a worthwhile thing.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So we have, as teachers, lecturers, coaches, whatever the case is, were you the perfect student? Were you the student that you want your students to be, or that you coach your students to be? Like, were you the guy who got it all right, and that's why you're telling them to do what you did because it worked for you?
At certain times, thanks for that question, by the way. At certain times, yes. Certain times, no. Yeah. In certain ways, yes, and in certain times, no. So, for example, if I was going through high school, was I a perfect student? No way.
Yeah.
No, and then I done the middle step between high school and university. We call them A levels here.
Yeah.
And something clicked, and I developed processes that worked for me, and this is where I learned some of the techniques that I now pass on.
Yeah.
Through uni, then I probably was the perfect student, because I for some strange reason I aced university, and I just flew through it.
Nice.
Probably because some of the techniques that I developed, but then whenever I was doing my professional exams, I then lapsed again because of the pressures of work involved and whatever.
Yeah.
So because I'd done a degree in accountancy, I had my first year of my training contract. I didn't have to do an exam.
Okay.
So that lulled me into a false sense of security. I went, oh, I can take this year
I
off.
can do this.
I lost momentum. And then I had to go and have the pressure at work, go to lectures on a Friday night, every Friday night on Saturdays. That was our lecture time, was weekends.
Yeah.
And then I procrastinated. Good old procrastination, good old laziness, because it was in bed in me then for a year.
Yep. And our brains go to path of least resistance so quickly.
So like everyone emotionally, my perfection in academia and being a student was peaks and troughs. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And again, you learn from those experiences.
Yeah.
So I can help people with that in terms of, yes, I've dealt with nearly every conceivable scenario that someone is dealing with. I've probably felt or came up against.
Yeah.
So the answer, a very long-winded answer. I was a perfect student. But it's true. I was a perfect student at times. Sometimes I wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Is the honesty about the fact that a lot of what we've learned and a lot of what we want others to learn is because we went through it the hard way.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy journey for me, and I don't imagine that it's an easy journey for someone else.
I would hazard a guess to say that accountancy is not an easy journey for the vast bulk of the exams, because they're so difficult.
Yeah,
there's not
massive expectations.
There's not that many professions.
Yeah.
Unless you've been through accountancy yourself, people don't understand the sacrifices and the difficulties that you go through. My family didn't have a clue why I was down in the kitchen studying for more hours than ever. Christmases, summers, that sort of thing. And they don't realize.
No. It's also why the community is important, because understanding, constantly having that argument with someone, or that discussion of, no, I really need to do this much studying. Like I really need to do this. And the fact that I'm not getting distinctions is not because I'm not studying. Because a lot of the families expect, well, I see you studying all the time, therefore you should be getting distinctions, and you're not. So something's wrong. Maybe you shouldn't do this. It's hard, whatever. So I actually, again, I wrote two posts on my blog about this, and I've kind of called it an open letter to the families of students on the CA route. And one of them is just explaining what the journey looks like in layperson's terms, because the terminology of all of this level and the that and the A and the abbreviations are crap. So I've kind of done that and explained some of the challenges around that. And then the second one is, why do the students struggle so much? So when you see them struggling and crying and like tearing their hair out, what is it that they're struggling with? And that I found very useful for people to send to their families and their friends and go, this is why, this is why I'm struggling.
Very, very good.
Yeah. This is what I'm struggling with. And I think the fact that you're human is incredibly important, because people are more likely to open up to you and go, okay, you understand what struggling is.
Yeah.
I think some people think that you have to be perfect to give other people advice, and that's probably the worst way to do it.
Nowhere near it. Say my own coach, we have numbers of conversations and that, and he would talk about his own feelings, and I go, right, okay, I felt that before, or then I would say something to him. So it's a two-way conversation, these things.
Yeah, and by bouncing stuff like that off of each other, that's how you learn. That's how you develop, and that's how you learn.
Completely.
So, one of the things that we spoke a little bit about last week that we wanted to touch on before we're done for today is your definition of success and how you perceive that compared to how you think the professional society sees that.
Very interesting. Because and my version of success has changed massively, Yvonne.
Yes.
Again, let's talk. You come through the typical accountancy route, whether that'll be in industry or whether that'll be in the profession itself in practice. And the definition of success is that you work all the time and you bring home the biggest paycheck that you can.
Yeah.
And, I was on the road to partnership in Grant Thornton, and my boss at the time said, James, I'm retiring in 5 years. There's a position here for you if you want to be partner, £200,000 a year. And my eyes lit up. And then within 18 months, I went, this is not for me.
Nope.
I don't want to work 10 hours a day every single day. And I was doing it. I didn't want to do it every single day. I didn't want to go to networking meetings every night, have my phone on 24/7 for clients, go golfing with clients every single weekend. So it becomes, you have to be really passionate to become a partner in a firm. And that's fine if that's for you.
But 20 years ago, you would have jumped at that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, completely.
With like, I'll do anything that I have to do. So as you say, like, just to indicate the change.
But again, I'm delighted I had all those experiences.
Yes.
Because I do career coaching as well. And I will tell people, if you want to be a partner, there are massive sacrifices to make.
Yeah.
And within industry as well. But now, I suppose over the last 6-7 years, Yvonne, where success has went for me is now lifestyle. And that, thankfully, due to the qualification, we can have our own businesses and coach. With the coaching, you can go to a coffee shop. So I'll give you an example. 2 months ago, I was in Luxor in Egypt. I went to the Valley of the Kings in the morning. I went back to the hotel and had a coaching call with a guy in Dublin that night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a huge success for me. Developing that lifestyle. So it's taking, don't get me wrong, I want to be financially free and I want to have a comfortable standard of living, but I want to then live. And I think that's the thing. So success has completely changed from being 100% money orientated and career orientated to now being probably 50-50 with that and life.
Yeah.
And doing things.
Do you think that there's people out there and probably, people who on different paths or still studying or whatever that feel that you're wasting your qualification by not pursuing the big, the big title or the partnership and the money and the house and the car or, all the other stuff? Do you think people feel that you did all that for nothing?
But I know I will have the money in the house and the car, but I will have it on my own terms.
Right.
I'll give you an example. It's actually happened last week. I met a good friend of mine who I was really friendly with in uni. We lost touch, as you do. We met up last week for a cup of coffee. And he is a partner in a venture capital firm. So they give out non-secured loans to small businesses. And he's a partner earning X, probably touching hundreds of thousands now. And we met for a cup of coffee and I told him my lifestyle. I would have been jealous of him 5 years ago, but he is now jealous of me because he had to go right back to the office after our hour of a conversation. Right. I went and I wrote a blog or I developed a bit of the website and I came home and had a coaching client that night and I had no stress.
Yeah.
He was so stressed. Yeah. So success means different things to different people and goals and success will change over time. So if you see people, especially doing again a comparison on social media, that are ultra successful, if that does not resonate with you, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to learn. Whereas success for me now is experiences, is travel, is I can care for my father who isn't particularly well at the moment. That's a huge success and an honor and privilege for me, which I couldn't do if I was stuck in the rat race.
100%.
Different things. So it's horses for courses with people.
Yeah. I think it's important that I want to encourage people to genuinely take a step back and interrogate what success is to them, because I think society is very quick to give that image. If you sort of just quickly close your eyes and say success to a lot of people, they see the car and the flashy lifestyle and the house and the clothes, the branded clothes, and the impressive business cards, whatever. It's very quick for us to fall into the trap of going, that's success. Success is money, success is status, and that type of thing. And I think especially when you're working your way up through that, I really want to encourage people to challenge that for themselves, and go, is that, as you say, if that is what you want, that's cool, that's fine. You're making sacrifices for that and you know that. But I think it is important to really sit down and go, by the time I get to the end of my life, what do I really want to have done? Where's my time? I see friends of mine that, got a CA qualification and are working half day for a company because they want to be able to pick their kids up from school. They want to be able to spend the afternoon with their kids. And there's other people that I know that sort of judge them for that and go, that's such a waste of time. You could be getting this really great high-powered job. And the response is, well, my kids are where my success and my fulfillment is, and my qualification allows me to get a half-day job that still pays the bills.
Right.
So that I can focus my energy on the kids and still pay for them to go to school. And so I'm glad that you say that. I feel exactly the same way. A few years ago, money was the most important thing. Stability and having the lifestyle and making sure that you have that distinction of proving that you're successful. And now it's lifestyle. It's not sitting in traffic. It's going to work at coffee shops or at home. Not waking up with an alarm clock is a big one for me. Being able to travel and work from wherever. It's, yeah.
Yvonne, I'll leave you with two sayings. I think I said this to you before. Yes, by all means, go and get this great qualification to build the life you want to build. But
absolutely,
you don't want to be the richest person in the graveyard.
Yeah. Yes.
And number two,
there was that other one.
There's no such thing as a tow bar on a hearse.
Yes, that was the one.
You can't bring money with you.
I love that saying.
A typical Irish saying there.
Yeah, I must write that one down. I really, really like that one. Awesome. I really appreciate your time. Again, this is not the last conversation that we're going to have. Hopefully students can understand that, the more that they understand us as people, I think it's less intimidating. We're there to help. We're there to do whatever it takes. And we understand that in a lot of cases, the problem is not the calculation.
No.
And that's
the first step and the most positive thing you can do is actually ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's incredibly brave. It's hard, but it's the right thing to do. Awesome. Well, I'll leave you with that so you can get back to all your important stuff.
Indeed.
And I can get back to my students. And again, thanks for the chat, and we'll do this again soon.
We definitely will. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Awesome.